If your subwoofer is blown, should you Recone it, or is it smarter to just buy another one? That answer is not as simple as a new sub is better. In some cases, Reconing can bring an expensive subwoofer back to life for much less money. In other cases, you can spend good money on a Recone and still end up with a sub that never performs the way it used to. So today, I'm breaking down exactly what Reconing does, what actually gets replaced, when it makes sense, and when you're better off walking away. First, let's clear up what Reconing actually means. A subwoofer isn't just one piece. It's a system made up of several parts that have to work together. You have the cone, surround, spider, voice coil, former, dust cap, and sometimes other parts depending on the design. When a subwoofer is reconed, the damaged moving assembly is removed and replaced with a new one. A proper Recone can replace the cone, voice coil, spider, surround, and related components as a matched assembly. The basket and motor structure usually stay in place. That last part matters. The motor is the heart of the subwoofer. It includes things like the magnet, pole piece, top plate, and other magnetic components. If those parts are still healthy, you may have a very good candidate for reconing. But if the basket is damaged, the magnet has shifted, the pole structure is damaged, or the motor has serious problems, a simple Recone may not save it. You're essentially putting new moving parts onto a damaged foundation. Now, why do subwoofers need reconing in the first place? The most common reason is a damaged voice coil. When you push a sub too hard, the coil can overheat. The insulation around the wire can break down, the coil can deform, or the winding can become damaged. You might hear scraping, distortion, weak output, or nothing at all. Sometimes the problem comes from too much power. Other times it's clipping, poor amplifier gain settings, mechanical overexcursion, or a box that doesn't suit the subwoofer. And here's where things get interesting. A blown voice coil doesn't automatically mean the entire subwoofer is finished. If the basket and motor are still good, reconing may be exactly what the manufacturer intended you to do. Many serious competition and high-power subwoofers are designed with serviceable parts because replacing an entire expensive driver every time something goes wrong would make no sense. But there's a big difference between a professional Recone and a cheap parts swap. This is where people get into trouble. A subwoofer isn't simply a cone attached to a coil. The moving assembly has specific mechanical and electrical characteristics. The spider stiffness, surround compliance, cone mass, voice coil dimensions, coil winding, and adhesive all affect how the driver behaves. Change those characteristics, and you can change the way the subwoofer performs. Think about it like replacing an engine component with something that physically fits but wasn't designed for that engine. It might work, but it fits doesn't mean it performs correctly. The same idea applies here. A quality Recone kit is designed for that specific subwoofer or motor structure. A random aftermarket kit that happens to fit the dimensions can produce unpredictable results. So, when is reconing actually worth the money? The first big factor is the value of the subwoofer. If you have a cheap entry-level subwoofer that costs around the same as the Recone, I usually wouldn't bother. Why spend most of the replacement costs repairing an old driver when you could start fresh? But if you have a high-end subwoofer that originally cost several $100s, or even much more, the calculation changes. A Recone could potentially save you a significant amount of money. This is especially true for competition-grade subwoofers where the motor assembly is expensive and difficult to replace. The second factor is the condition of the motor and basket. Before spending money on a Recone, inspect everything you can. Check the basket for cracks or bends. Look for signs that the magnet assembly has shifted. Check the terminals. Inspect the pole area for obvious damage. If the motor is mechanically sound, you have a much better starting point. The third factor is whether you can get the correct Recone kit. This is a huge one. If the manufacturer still supports that model and sells the correct Recone assembly, that gives me much more confidence. If the subwoofer is discontinued and you're trying to build a replacement assembly from unrelated parts, I'd be much more cautious. And then there's labor. Reconing a subwoofer isn't something I'd treat like changing a speaker grill. Alignment matters. The voice coil needs to sit correctly in the magnetic gap. The spider needs to be positioned properly. Adhesives need to bond correctly. The moving assembly needs to remain centered throughout its movement. If the coil is slightly off-center, you can end up with rubbing. That means the sub may make noise, generate distortion, overheat, or fail again. A Recone that looks perfect from the outside can still have problems if the internal alignment is wrong. This is why I recommend using someone who actually knows how to Recone subwoofers, especially expensive ones. Saving a little money on labor isn't much of a victory if you destroy a Recone kit that already costs you a decent amount. Now let's talk about one of the biggest myths. A Recone subwoofer is never as good as a new one. That's not automatically true. A properly reconed subwoofer can perform extremely well because the important motor structure is still there. If the replacement moving assembly matches the original design and the installation is done correctly, the repaired sub can be very close to its original performance. But there is another side to this. If the original motor has been damaged, the Recone won't magically fix it. And if the replacement parts don't match the original specifications, the subwoofer may behave differently. That could affect sensitivity, frequency response, excursion, power handling, and overall sound. This is why I wouldn't judge reconing simply by asking, "Does it work?" The better question is, "Does it work the way this subwoofer was designed to work?" That's a much higher standard. Another thing I want you to consider is why the subwoofer failed. This is something people often overlook. Imagine you Recone a subwoofer, install it, and immediately destroy the new coil. That repair didn't solve anything. It just reset the clock. If the original failure came from amplifier clipping, incorrect gain, an unsuitable enclosure, excessive boost, or mechanical overexcursion, you need to address that problem before installing the repaired sub. For example, if your amplifier is clipping because you're demanding more output than it can cleanly produce, a brand new Recone won't protect you from the same problem. You can destroy the replacement just as easily. The enclosure matters too. A ported box that isn't designed around the subwoofer can allow excessive cone movement below the tuning frequency. That can mechanically stress the suspension and voice coil. So sometimes the real repair isn't just the subwoofer. It's the system around it. This brings us to the money question. Before reconing, compare three numbers: the cost of the Recone kit, the labor cost, and the price of a comparable new subwoofer. If the repair is significantly cheaper than replacing the sub, and the motor is healthy, reconing can make a lot of sense. If the repair approaches the price of a new subwoofer, I'd start looking at replacement options. And if the motor, basket, or other major components are damaged, I'd usually stop and get a professional assessment before buying anything. There's also a sentimental factor. Maybe it's a rare subwoofer. Maybe it has a motor that's no longer produced. Maybe you've built your entire system around it. In that situation, reconing can make sense even when the math isn't perfect. You're preserving something that's difficult to replace. But if it's an inexpensive subwoofer that's readily available, buying a new one is often the simpler move. Here's a simple rule: don't Recone based on the fact that the subwoofer is blown. Recone it because the motor and basket are worth saving. That's the real mystery behind reconing. The expensive-looking part you see from the outside isn't necessarily the most valuable part of the driver. The motor structure can be a major reason why repairing a high-power subwoofer makes financial sense. You're essentially keeping the expensive foundation and replacing the damaged moving assembly. And if you're trying to diagnose your own subwoofer, don't immediately order parts. First, figure out what actually failed. A multimeter can help identify obvious electrical problems, but it won't tell you everything. A coil can have an electrical reading and still have mechanical problems. Scraping sounds, unusual movement, burning smells, damaged suspension components, and visible mechanical damage can all tell you more. Also, check the manufacturer's specifications and Recone availability before you spend money. If you want deeper resources, tools, and related guides, check the description box. I'll point you toward useful information that can help you diagnose the problem and make a smarter repair or replace decision. Now I want to hear from you. Have you ever reconed a subwoofer? Did it come back stronger, sound different, or fail again? Drop your experience or your questions in the comments. And if this video helped you understand what's actually happening inside a blown subwoofer, hit like and subscribe. There are plenty more car audio mysteries to solve, and your next blown sub might not need to hit the trash just yet.